Live from the basement of Arrowhead Stadium, it's the Basement Benchwarmers 2020 NFL Preview Show.
Yes, we are back to Basement Benchwarmers. It's the NFL Preview Show, as Jace introduced, and the usual guys are here. We're missing one. Willie is out on hiatus. There was a big Depends convention, and he's checking out different sizings. We have a special guest host tonight. Glenn, famous from the snake draft, is here. And so, Glenn, how you doing?
I'm doing well. This seat went from the oldest seat to the youngest seat, just like that.
Perfect.
But why does it smell like Bengay prune juice over here?
You get used to it.
Yeah.
So, Eric, how was your week leading up to the show?
So I guess I just got confirmation that Willie's not cheating on me then?
I don't know.
I don't know, that guy.
You know, it's always sexy to pull off the Depends.
Yeah. Well, other than that, I'm doing okay. I mean, I got Glenn sitting next to me who's a little bit younger than Willie. So
A little bit.
So I'm doing all right.
It's like decades. So, Ed, how was your week?
Well, I feel a lot better with Glenn here because, you know, he's a trained military guy, so I didn't have to bring my podcast gun tonight. So I feel a little better.
So tonight on the NFL Preview Show, we're going to have the usual beer tent, which is going to have an audible to it, a little different thing, what you guys will see when we get there. Where Are They Now? Well, Glenn's going to take over tonight and give us his Where Are They Now? Also, the snake draft is going to be our favorite fantasy football player ever, personally, so we're going to pick 4 of those. The fan poll this week is who will be in the Super Bowl and who will win. Also, we're going to start up a segment with the NFL season upon us. We're going to all pick 3 locks of the week and an upset, and we're going to keep standings for the year. The normal picks will be a point per, and the upset will count for 2 points. So we'll see how the year goes for everybody. And the upset will obviously have to be someone that's an underdog in the point spread.
He said spread.
We're going to have a few other topics. We're going to talk before we start the actual part of the show for the NFL preview. We're going to discuss the NBA playoffs for a second real quick, and also Major League Baseball down to 16 games, as I've been told. So it's getting down to crunch time for the MLB. And let's start with that. The NBA playoffs got to the second round as we started last week, and right now, as it looks like, the Lakers are down 0-1 playing as of tonight, Sunday night. You have Denver and LA tied up at 1-1. You have the Bucks getting a win this evening, 1-3, but it looks like Giannis will probably miss, if they do get 3 more games in, will probably miss all those games. By the injury hasn't been really told anybody yet. Didn't look good.
It's an ankle injury.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, ankle, yeah. And then also Boston has a 2-2 tie, correct, with Toronto. Toronto came back down 2-0. So Toronto's still fighting to be back-to-back champion. They're still alive. So with those 4 games, or those 4 series going on, and with those numbers, what is the outlook you see coming? Obviously, hate to be the pessimist in the room, but I'm going to take the Bucks Heat series, and I'll just say I've been selling for weeks, and I think I'm getting I think I got value for them back when I told sell when it started, because I think they're done even without Giannis. Even with Giannis, I think they're done. It's a shame. This may decide what happens to Giannis in the future, but it's a shame. So let's each take a series. I'll give you each a series to talk about that's left. How about, Glenn, the Lakers in Houston? What do you think they have there? Down 0-1. Obviously, it's early in the series. What do you think?
Just not a big Lakers fan, just in general sports fanology, just because of the hype that's always been around them. Kobe was great, obviously. You had great players come out of there, but I just hate those overhyped teams that come year after year. So I would go with Houston. I mean, it's easy pick because they're ahead already. Can't give any insight to it, but I'm just going with who's on top now.
I like that.
That's perfect. Hey, we'll give you the series notched up also in the West, the Denver Clippers series, Eric.
I'm kind of in agreement with Glenn with the overhyped teams. I think the Clippers have been fairly overhyped. And the Nuggets just came off this huge series with the Jazz, which I think they played hard, and we're starting to see an incredible player on the rise, Jamal Murray. So I'm going to take the Nuggets. I'm taking the Nuggets over the Clippers in an upset. It's just that kind of year. It's 2020, baby.
And then we have Ed, and you got Boston and Toronto tied up at 2-2.
I like Toronto still. They've been hot now. They won the last 2. I picked them to go pretty far before. I do like Glenn picking against the Lakers in Willie's spot because Willie thought it was the Minneapolis Lakers still last time we asked him.
So a couple of things that came out this week in the NBA that were kind of funny. I did take Richard Jefferson had a quote this week, basically saying that that Giannis is like Scottie Pippen. He is not a lead. He needs to get his Jordan. That's what I basically said. Richard Jefferson said he needs to get his Jordan. He's more of a Scottie Pippen. And the greatest comeback was Scottie Pippen tweeted out, "I'm not Giannis. I don't have back-to-back league MVPs, which would be a matter of days. He's not me. The question is, who are you as a player?" Saying Richard Jefferson. So I thought it was kind of comical of Scottie Pippen coming to Giannis' defense. And the actual, it's right here, Richard Jefferson's actual tweet was, "Giannis might be a Pippen. There, I said it. He needs his Jordan." So that was the tweet. And
so who would be the Jordan that's that much better than Giannis?
so he's going to get, I guess, LeBron to come play with him? I don't know. Or whoever.
It would have to be somebody better than a two-time MVP winner.
Or I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
I think not that I don't agree with Dick Jefferson, but I think what he's trying to say, and the criticism has been all, especially this series, there is not a closer on that team. Giannis he has not stepped up as a closer. He's not coming up in big moments. He's scoring his points. I mean, he's still unbelievable. What he did tonight, even before the injury, had 19 points in 12 minutes. Just went out like that. He's playing hard, but yeah, in those big moments in those big games, he's especially those first two games, he came up pretty small. And so I think what he's trying to refer to as a closer, like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, somebody that could step up, and maybe he doesn't think that Giannis is that guy. So and he's throwing shade at Pippen when he says that, but
so the thing you say about that today is a perfect example of how this series is eerily, and obviously it's not the Bucks we're up 2-0 last year, but not this year at any point. But this series is eerily becoming this series from last year against Toronto. It really is. It's from game one though. It's been like that. The problem with it is that when you have three guys meet your free throw line every time, someone else has to make a shot. And today was a perfect example of Middleton, third quarter, he had, I believe it was 15, 21 points, something in there. He blew up, had 27 points in the third quarter. And guess how many points he had going into overtime? 27.
27, yeah.
He scored 0 in the fourth quarter. And this is the problem. Yeah. You sign this guy he makes more than Giannis. Remember that. He's the high.
He hit the 3 in overtime.
Yeah, but still, why play overtime? Why don't you make a shot? He took 3 or 4 shots, all these shots in the middle, trying to be he was trying to do too much in the fourth quarter, and also Bledsoe had just one awful 3-point shot. It made no sense at all in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
but
I hate to say it, I think Middleton, if you go back through history and look at championship winning teams, Middleton is like the third best guy on like that type of team. And I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know what's going to happen in the offseason with trades and with Giannis and with a max contract, but I think there needs to be a guy really to be in that closer role. If Giannis is in foul trouble, Giannis he's just a different guy. He's a big guy. He's not Kobe Bryant. He's not Michael Jordan. There needs to be somebody else there. And
there was something interesting written the other day, and if we all tend to forget, and
he's still only 25 years old.
But remember what LeBron?
But LeBron lost a lot of games in the playoffs.
And LeBron wasn't a great shooter. LeBron was the same type of player that Giannis is. Just go to the basket, you get through people, you make the play. But there's between LeBron and Giannis. I'm going to keep saying this: is Giannis don't get the calls.
No, it's unbelievable.
He gets the calls against him, as we saw in Game 2.
Yeah.
The fighting some foul on Jimmy Butler to end the game. But, all this stuff comes out after Game 1. Oh, he didn't guard Jimmy Butler. Why is that? Blah, blah. Doesn't have to, because the next 3 games, Jimmy Butler's averaged like 15 points. So this is crazy. The Bucks went with a plan. They're going to stick to their plan. That's what got them where they are. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it doesn't work out, and right now I don't think they advance. I think it's over.
I don't think the Bucks in general are getting the calls. It's unbelievable. Even the fourth quarter tonight, it was like just a couple minutes left. The Bucks have the lead, and Ted Davis calling the game. I'm listening on the radio on the way here. He's like, "Well, the Heat actually have a foul to give because they have 0 fouls." And Ted Davis even made a snide remark of like, because they're such a non-aggressive team, right? No, they're playing hard defense. They're playing tough, and yet they have They had 0 fouls.
So
unbelievable.
I believe this will be the second to last time we talk about the Bucks, because we'll talk about the Bucks next week because they'll be eliminated by then. I have a funny feeling. And if they aren't,
stop the bleeding.
That's great,
really.
But yeah, I think it's time to go back to the drawing board or just lick the wounds and get back. I think the bubble just kind of wasn't the greatest thing for a number 1 seed. It really wasn't.
Yeah,
you can't put this all on Giannis. You really can't. It's a shame they do. And everybody is. He's the guy that wants the max contract. He wants the big money, so I have no problem with it being on his shoulders. Yeah. But also, does Giannis have the personality to be that guy?
Time will tell. He's young. He's young.
Well, to be a Jordan-type guy that's not afraid to walk in a room and LeBron, I've seen him on court get on guys. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. when you call guys out and then you're calling guys out for stuff that they go through replay and show that was your fault. You can call guys out. You can have your fights in practice. You can have your call in locker rooms. But like a Jordan did it tons of times. You've heard stories, obviously, from The Last Dance. Tons of stories of that stuff. But what in the end, every guy in that thing still respected Michael Jordan. They're not best friends. But they respect him. Even Steve Kerr, the guy he punched in the face. And actually, we found out Steve Kerr was the aggressor in that. So, it was just a reaction. So whatever. But is Giannis that guy? Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. But, when you're demanding a bunch of money, leadership, that's one thing that I think stands
I don't think
out.
he's demanding anything.
Well,
that's hearsay.
He's going
to get it. He's going to get it.
He's going to want the max
$200
contract from
Well,
somebody.
of course. He should have.
But I'm saying is,
but he's not a guy that's standing out here saying, pay me. I don't hear that from Giannis.
Yeah, because he's getting it.
He's going to get it. Yeah.
But the question is, if he's not a leader, do you want him to be paid that much?
So here's the question I got.
What do you do?
It seems like the NBA is always comparing today's players to yesterday's players, more so in any other sport. Why is that? And probably a game that's probably evolved more than any of the other sports when you look at, just how, it used to be a defensive NBA league and now it's more of an offensive league.
No. They don't play defense?
Flopping's defense, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched the last
boys.
2 games. I must have missed that.
Yeah, they just started doing it. They stopped playing defense.
I was like, I was out of town.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not saying, why isn't Tariq Cohen the next Barry or
Walter Payton.
Walter Payton, thank you.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen in other sports. It just blows my mind.
In going all the way back to that tweet from that Dick Jefferson thing.
Dick Jefferson, nice.
I know, I like that. To me, it's more Giannis is their Jordan. I mean, obviously he's not Jordan, but he's their MVP. They don't have the Pippen guy. Their next guy is I don't know who's the third guy in the Bears, B.J. Armstrong.
Well, if Middleton's more of a, if you go back,
I would have picked
back to
Ron
the Lakers.
Harper, probably.
Yeah, okay, say Ron Harper.
Well, how about the Lakers? He's James Worthy.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's not Kareem or Magic. He's
James Worthy.
Yeah, they don't have that number 2 guy. I would say more than anything.
You can take, and like teams that have won in the past. I mean, last year Kawhi Leonard unconscious. Yeah. And you had guys not Van Fleet, and you have Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
But you had guys that kind of got on fire to go
Lowry's
with that.
a closer.
But you look at the Golden State teams, you have Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. And an Iguodala, who would probably be a number 3 in a lot of teams a couple years ago.
Well,
and today.
And then they brought in what's that guy's name? Kevin Durant.
Oh, Kevin Durant hopped in the team, too.
Yeah, so like now Hall of Famer.
Well, even LeBron, I mean, it makes it a lot easier to carry the team on your shoulders when Anthony Davis is dunking right next to you,
Or you have Ray Allen hitting threes and Chris Bosh in his paint. Or you have Kyrie Irving doing a lot in that playoff series,
I would say
when he was in Cleveland when they won the one.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, Giannis is carrying the team more than any of those guys.
Right. And I just don't. And back to the thing, don't get me wrong, Giannis should be signed and stay in Milwaukee. I'm not saying that, but once again, when are other people going to be asked what have you done for us lately? Mm-hmm. You can score 30 in the regular season, hit 10 threes, but when we get to the playoffs, you're 0 for 7, and you're as a role player. Come on, we need you. Remember. On Monday, in the game 2 when the foul got called, that was a tie game. You need one more basket somewhere. That's all you need, one basket. So someone's, you know what I'm saying. I mean, it sounds crazy to put it like that because obviously the other team could have made one more basket too and done. But I don't know. I just think I just got a bad feeling that he's not staying here. Giannis is leaving. I just have a bad feeling. I really do. I don't think this is built for him. I don't know if maybe he wants to be number 2. Some guys are fine being the guy that goes over and okay, I can win. I'm still going to get accolades, make my money, but I'll play next to this guy. I'll play next to Kevin Durant. I'll go to Brooklyn. So I had that time of the show to hop into Eric's Beer Cat.
I like beer cause it is good. I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to sing, I sing it and beer you bring. I drink beer when I am sad, cause the beer it makes me glad. Now there's nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer. Beer is good! Beer is good! Beer is good!
Well, beer is definitely good, but this week, because it's the NFL preview show at some point, I'm calling an audible. And I'm not going to do a beer this week. I'm going to do as a tribute to the events yesterday in Kentucky. The Kentucky Derby was run, Not its normal time. It's usually run in early May, but it was run yesterday. And one of my favorite things to do during the Kentucky Derby, because you guys know I'm big Derby fans, is to drink a little bourbon. So I mixed up these guys so everybody knows I think the popular drink these days is the Moscow Mule. So I poured them the Kentucky Mule. So, typically you get yourself out a copper cup and you fill it with ice. And we took a little Bullet bourbon from Kentucky, poured that one third ginger beer, and then a lot of lime. Refreshing summer drink. Good drink to watch the Kentucky Derby. I don't like mint juleps, guys. I really don't. I'd rather just drink bourbon on the rocks versus than drinking some mint julep. I think they taste terrible. I love the Kentucky Derby. Authentic was the big winner, rail to rail. And we won't talk about the events outside the Derby, but so this week's non-beer of the week, bourbon of the week, Bullet bourbon and a Kentucky Mule. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. Pretty tasty.
Yeah,
Usually with the Derby, they wear goofy hats. Was it combat helmets this year because of the protests?
Well, there wasn't any fans. Well, you know what? There wasn't any fans in there, but it looked like there was a lot of people still in there. I mean, these owners of these horses, it takes a lot, obviously. It takes a village to train these horses, and Bob Baffert, I guess, has it pretty much figured out.
It takes a village.
It takes a village.
I did notice that Baffert had the most diverse crew there.
Did he?
Yeah, I noticed in the post-game interviews.
Yeah, he's got great silver hair, doesn't he? He's a silver fox.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there was a lot of people there. I didn't see any bonnets or, just good-looking suits and stuff like that, but would love to go at some point. It was weird seeing the infield. You can never see the infield because it's packed with a bunch of idiots drinking bourbon.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Eric, this drink is a touchdown, going back to your...
yeah.
To
You
your
got to call
theme.
that audible?
Yeah, I feel like I just got a dick pic from Brett Favre.
How's the Crocs?
I feel that way every day.
So that leads us into our...
Leads us into what?
dick pics.
Yeah.
Dick pick of the week.
Friend of the show.
Let's just go to the top 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's tonight's top 10.
So this week's top 10 is kind of a play on Kentucky Derby also, since we're doing the bourbon and the Kentucky Mule. What we did is we talked about names of horses the benchwarmers would enter in the Kentucky Derby. Let's get to post time. That is the saddest.
That's a 20. That's definitely a 2020 Kentucky Derby call.
Did a horse die?
Yeah. Wow.
Must have been Willie's horse.
It was the one from Seabiscuit.
Jeez.
So anyway, this week's top 10 names of horses the benchwarmers would enter in the Kentucky Derby. Here we go. Number 10, Where's Willie? Number 9, Lathered Huntsman.
Oh, that's my horse.
That's horse. Number 8 is A-Track.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Number 7, Finishing in the Rear.
That's my horse as well.
Number 6, friend of the show, Smoking Jay.
Boo.
Great horse name.
Number 5, Secretariat's Revenge.
2.0.
Number 4,
Wow.
oh, it's actually called Dead Air. I couldn't read my writing. I should have just played it off.
I think you hit the post.
I was like, man, he's really playing this well.
Number 3, Culver's Creeper. Number 2, Tapioca Thunder. That's, if anyone knows, that's Willie's horse. And the number 1 horse name, if we entered a horse in the Kentucky Derby, Glenn's Snake.
Yay. And they're off.
So, baseball, real quick, before we get to football. Baseball, we're at the 16 games like we talked about. The playoffs started today. You'd have the Rays against the Blue Jays, Athletics against the Twins, White Sox versus the Yankees, Cleveland versus the Astros. They have the AL. The NL, you have Dodgers, Rockies, Braves, Marlins, Cubs, Cardinals, and the Padres, Phillies. So, real quick, on the baseball front, what are you guys seeing right now mid-year? I know we made picks early in the year. Anybody swing off their picks? I know Ed had Tampa in there. We talked about earlier. I had the White Sox, Cubs, and I'm not going away from that. I'll stick with that. But your pick earlier, anybody like going, well, I like this a little better now, or I'm sticking where I am. 16 games left, so obviously not much left to catch up. So pretty much division winners are getting to be set. So we're going to see here how it goes. But Ed,
I actually like my Tampa Dodgers pick with Tampa winning it. I mean, they're both looking really good right now. I love the Padres, though, and they added Clevenger. They actually have a three-headed monster now in the pitching staff. So with Paddock, Clevenger, and LeMay.
Yeah, and you got to go play in that. You got to go play in that pit.
Yeah,
what's it called now? Petco, is it still called?
Petco, yeah.
Petco Park, man, that place is hard. That's a pitcher's park too, man.
Yeah, that Padre team could do some damage with those three pitchers.
And with Tatis.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
He doesn't follow the rules, though. The unwritten rules.
Oh, God.
His hair is awesome.
Yes.
Though.
Tatis is becoming one of my favorite players, actually.
He's a stud.
He is.
I mean, I had Yankees, Cubs, World Series, but the two teams that I was so tempted to go on a limb, and I did, at least putting them in the playoffs, with the Sox and the Padres, just like we were kind of just talking about, so I feel great about that. I did have the Nationals, I think, going far, and they're kind of a dud this year, but yeah, I still feel okay.
The Sox team kind of reminds me of the Cubs team, and what was it, 15? That kind of
the year before.
Yeah, the year before. I mean, they're a year away yet. They don't have the pitching, I don't think, in the playoffs. But, I mean, they're hitting the crap out of the ball.
So I know, Glenn, you didn't have a choice, but what do you think right now by looking at those teams? Who do you like to be the, what's the word I'm looking for? Represent the AL and NL. There
I would love a Chicago series. I mean, not only would that be great for this area, but it would really stick it to the MLB because they don't have that East Coast, West Coast fan base then. Obviously it's all going to come from the central part of the country. I don't know that the Cubs can sustain through the National League, though. They're kind of in the weakest division, or one of the weaker divisions this year. Obviously, I like the Sox.
Or is it one of the better divisions because of the records?
They're knocking each other
I
off.
did say that when I did my picks. When I made my picks, I actually had Cincinnati and the Brewers making the playoffs just because they're going to fight so hard and get 3 in there. And when you battle test, I think I said about the NFC North a few weeks ago. Same thing. When you battle test for a year, you change, you get different. I'm sorry.
No.
And I know. I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying because there's a lot of problems the Cubs have.
Well, so I'm sticking to the pick.
Strong team. I'm sticking to the pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cubs got knocked out in the first round. It wouldn't surprise me.
Because they're glaring. Some of the challenges that the Cubs have are pretty glaring, and we know it's like the bullpen and.
Well, I was gone for 2 days again. The Cubs have a bullpen problem.
They don't have one.
What is it? 2018?
And the problem is they don't have one.
Or 19.
Or 19 or 20.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So it's so glaring, and I agree with what you're saying, Glenn. I think, if you got to feel confident about some of these teams, and you feel a lot better about some of the other teams, like the Dodgers. And
I feel more comfortable with the Padres and the Braves right now. The Braves don't have that pitching staff. I mean, with Soroka out, now they're going with Max Fried and a couple other number 3s or 4s.
Well, the one thing is, if you can the Brewers made it work for a whole playoff run. They probably could have made the World Series.
Yeah,
well, the Brewers don't even have a number
short.
3 right now.
No.
They came up short. We just talked about it with basketball. You got to have closers.
Yep, closers is the word. So,
and the Cubs don't have that.
So, real quick before we move into football, I know people are like, really?
Geez,
here we go.
is it finally coming.
Let's go and see what Jace has in the Sports Minute.
This is the Basement Benchwarmers Sports Minute. On Saturday, Authentic won for the first time the Kentucky Derby. It was the 145th running. Mike Trout hit his 300th career homer and is the leading home run leader in Angels franchise history with that big fly. It was announced by the Blue Jays that Teoscar Hernandez has been placed on the injured list, and he will miss serious time. He is one of the league's leading home run leaders with 13. Jose Altuve also was injured sliding to third base, and he has been placed on the IL. Novak Djokovic has been disqualified from the U.S. Open as he was hitting a ball towards the back wall of the court and injured a line judge. And I'll send it back to the Benchwarmers. This has been the Basement Benchwarmers Sports Minute.
So about, what's his name, the tennis player?
Djokovic.
Djokovic was flipping the ball back against the wall, and when I saw the ESPN notification come across, I was expecting to see some malicious overhand serve smacking this person. And all he was doing was, I always seen in tennis, is they just kind of hit the ball back against the wall. And he just lost a point, but it still wasn't, I didn't think it was crazy. And he did hit a woman line judge in the throat, and she went down. Not to be laughing. But number one, I just want to say one thing is that if you're a line judge at a U.S. Open, should you be paying attention?
Heads up.
Yeah. So I don't know, but he looked totally, and they actually disqualified him. They made him leave the tournament. And when I thought I was going to see something crazy, I'm like, oh, this is what's the world coming to? I was thinking in my head right away.
Accident.
Seriously, what's the world? I'm like, oh my god! And then I watch this, I'm like, no way.
Could the line judge have not? Could she not have stood up and said, "Look, there was nothing malicious"?
She was like, oh. So she couldn't talk at the time, but she was on the ground. So I'm guessing
I
hurt.
I think I know that girl.
Oh my god!
You've seen her movies.
All right, start the podcast again.
No, in the NFL, when a woman gets hit with something, it's usually they call that Tuesday.
Oh yeah, Pam Oliver got hit? Didn't she get hit in the head pretty bad once? I mean, she just sucked it up.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I have not seen
That's
this
what she
footage.
said. Dang it! Wasn't ready for it. Son of a bitch.
That should be
You can edit
at
it.
your disposal.
Yeah, we got to post edit that for sure.
So I got a question about it though. Aren't we going to talk about football?
Okay. So baseball. We talk a little baseball. We have a sports minute.
Should we can we talk about track and field? Or, I mean, where are we going?
Wait, we have one more thing.
Swimming?
Before. See, this is a teaser. Get people involved in the show. Here we go. There is no Willie today. We have Glenn, but he is prepared. Hey, where are they now?
Willie.
Where are they now?
Willie.
Where are they now?
Willie.
Where are they now?
All right, so this guy,
I like this guy.
yeah, he started his career.
I know it.
He started a career.
Well, it's not the ball girl.
As a senior in high school, he was All-American at Fort Scott High School in Fort Scott, Kansas. He was drafted by the Florida Marlins both in 1998 and 1999 in the amateur draft, which he refused, and then was drafted by the Atlanta Braves in 2000. On May 28th, let me skip back here. He played 12 years in the MLB. Played for the Braves, the Pirates, the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Nats, and the White Sox. This is pretty important for this group. On May 28th, 2006, he contributed to two of the Braves' record 8 home runs in a win against the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
And then in 2012, he homered in each game of a 4-game series against the Cubs. He had 5 home runs overall. That's important because the only other players to do that are Babe Ruth, Hank Greenberg, Yogi Berra, Johnny Bench, and Mike Schmidt.
Never heard of any of those guys.
Yeah, you probably have all their cards.
Bunch of losers.
In 2012, he won Golden Glove at first base and the Silver Slugger Award. He retired in 2016 when he was told his son could not hang out in the spring training clubhouse.
God, that part of it gets me.
No, I know. So that's all you got for us?
Well, I'll have you what he's doing now.
What were the teams he played for again? I'm sorry.
So he started with the Braves, the Pirates, the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Nationals, and the White Sox.
I know the guy.
When he was with his Pirates, he actually played with his brother who played third base.
Because the White Sox wouldn't allow him to have his kid in
Yeah.
in the
I remember this.
Good old
too.
Kenny Williams.
Yeah, good old Kenny Williams.
I was like, I think it was Adam Eaton, but it's not. It's
I can't remember.
You were close.
I can picture him. I just can't.
His first name is an Adam too. Is it?
It's
Yeah, it's
Adam.
the Roach.
Adam Roach.
I knew I was close.
So as soon as he retired, he went to Southeast Asia undercover to break up a child sex trafficking ring.
Wow.
And today he owns E3 Ranch.
He owns a bunch of childs.
He slaves them out. He owns E3 Ranch. Play on his E3, his area. Yeah. Where they partner with organizations to provide a restful place for men and women to visit and reconnect with themselves and others by engaging directly in fellowship, conversations, and the enjoyment of outdoor experiences around the ranch. So it's a veteran organization, so he brings them on to hunt. I know, Ed, you're a big hunter. You should also know him from the Buck Commanders, where he's co-owner with Chipper Jones, Ryan Langerhouse, Tom Martin, Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, and Willie Robertson from the Duck Commanders.
I only know one of those guys, Chipper Jones, because I did play in a camp with Chipper.
So yeah, he's still out there. He's still doing stuff for veterans, which I thought was pretty cool. And I used to watch the Buck Commanders back when I had Spectrum cable and could get the outdoor channel.
That was way better than any of Willie's. Way better.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Because I kept.
Well, it's like, so A-Rod works for the Mariners now. What? Ken Griffey works for the Mariners now.
Where's Ken Griffey been? He didn't go anywhere.
He's still working the Mariners. Okay, that was a good one. Thank you, Glenn. That was good. Good one.
That was awesome.
That was real good. And I like those kind where there's like a twist and they actually are doing something in real life, not their athlete type thing.
Well, Randy Johnson's a photographer.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
That was Willie did that. Willie did that one.
Well,
That was good.
Willie's best one was his first one where he talked about the Hawk, Andre Dawson. He's a funeral director.
No, that was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
but everything since then has been just straight downhill until Glenn picked him up. Thanks,
Yeah,
Ken.
I'm the Viagra for Willie.
Yes. Oh gosh, you need some, please. Please.
a lot of dust coming out of that place. So. It's like LeBron scored.
Our Door County weekends just aren't the same.
So for the basement bench warmers, we have a special guest tonight. He is a ex-Kenosha kid, played at Wofford College in South Carolina, and a couple things that this young man did. He was the Alan Michi Award winner in Kenosha. He was also the Holy Rosary Athlete of the Year, two pretty prominent high school awards in the city of Kenosha. Also, he was unanimous Defensive Player of the Year for the conference. He was an all-conference defensive end and tight end. Also, he was an all-state football defensive end. He led the state with 14 and a half sacks in the season in high school. Obviously, now it's shorter than most things. 14 and a half sacks is a good amount. Also, he was the only person in the state of Wisconsin to go to state track in 4 events in a single year, his junior year. And he went back for one event as a senior. Also, he was the first player out of Indian Trail High School to receive a full football scholarship, and that was to Wofford, as I said, in South Carolina. He was named the Unsung Hero as a freshman at Wofford, also Comeback Player of the Year at Wofford. And he was a Southern Conference Championship and 2-time qualifier for the quarterfinals in the playoffs. So this is Michael Roach from Kenosha. Michael, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. I'm going to jump into one thing real quick here with you. And the first thing, we talking about all the accolades you had and all that. And we see people might ask why it was only a 2-time, and your career was cut short, obviously. And is it okay if you talk about why it was cut short? What happened?
Yeah, of course. And also, Mr. Cavelli, thank you for having me on.
No problem.
Appreciate you.
Call me Scott. Call me Scott.
Mr. Cavelli.
No,
Holy cow.
Everybody calls me Mr. Cavelli. You're looking for bill payments or something. So no, just call me Scott.
And also, I hope everyone's safe back at home during everything right now.
Thank you.
Yep. But what happened was I had a heart condition ever since I was born. Never knew about it, and I think it was a perfect storm. My junior year was the first game, September 1st of 2016. We got off the sideline. It was the first drive after the halftime kick. So the defense, Wofford's defense, we were on the field for 13 plays. Came off the field, sat on the sideline, had some water, and then from there I think I must have passed out on the sideline, and I had this episode of a heart problem. Never knew about it. And woke up in the ambulance, and it was an ordeal, and kind of still to this day don't really. It's hard for me to get back into that mindset because I was still out of it. But looking back, when I was in the hospital, they kind of told me I had a heart problem, and they explained to me that it was hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And what it is, do you guys remember Hank Gathers?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. So Hank Gathers passed away from the same thing that I have, and so it's actually a very common heart condition among young athletes in the world. It's actually a decently common heart condition among people that it just goes undetected their whole life, because if you're not working out or getting your heart rate up really high, you never really realize it. But yeah, figured out I had that, and I had to have a pacemaker put in, and had to cut my career short. And became a coach, and a student coach at Wofford, graduated, and now life kind of goes on as usual.
So what I did hear from, I don't know if I talked to you or maybe I've talked to your mom actually, was it true that Wofford actually kept you on as a coach and actually fulfilled your scholarship, correct?
Oh yeah, yep, that's exactly what happened.
Man.
Wofford, I'm very, very blessed to be associated with the college, and always kept me in the loop and wanted me to be a part of the team. So ever since I got injured, I think I got injured actually on a Thursday, September 1st. Our first day of school was September, must have been 4th, Monday. And I remember my parents and me, we were driving back from Tennessee because I had to have all of these, medical tests and all this, like a surgery and all that. And so I came back on a Sunday after the Thursday game. And I remember telling my parents I had to go to class on Monday. I have to go to class. And that was kind of like the culture that school instilled in you. No matter what, you get beat up, you get knocked down, you always kind of pick yourself up and move forward. And so ever since then, I remember walking into team meeting on Sunday when I got back from Tennessee, probably like an hour after I got back to South Carolina here in Spartanburg, walked into the team meeting, and from that point on, I was the outside linebacker coach, sat in the booth every game, sit next to our D coordinator, helping out with the scheme, and it was a very different look at football, I have to say. You see one thing on the field, and then when you get that, eye in the sky look in football, it's a lot different. So I understand a lot of why the coaches make their decisions now. So it was a unique experience.
So you probably learned a lot of new colorful phrases, too, up there, I bet, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, Eric, you have a question here for Michael, possibly.
Well, I'm just chiming in. You guys talked a little bit before we went on the air, but so are you still involved in Wofford? Are you still coaching, or is that something you aspire to be? Is involved in coaching football?
No, I don't. Well, in terms of our college, I would say more of like a. So I'm on the board. I'm going to be on the board in 2021 of our Terrier Club, which is basically our athletic fundraising portion of our school. And it's a fund and it's a club, and you handle how the money comes in and figure out how to disperse it amongst the athletic departments. So I was asked to be on that board for 2021, and I think you serve either 3 or 5 years, depends on what you pick. But I'm excited to do that. But I'm excited to just give back to Wofford in that scope. I don't know if I want to be a coach anymore. Football's done a lot for me. I'm very thankful for it, and I always want to give back to football, especially at Wofford, especially Indian Trail. I have aspirations to figure out some way of being a part of Kenosha Indian Trail High School. But coaching, probably not, no.
So Michael, you only played, 2 years then?
It would have been
2 years in one play of a game?
Yeah, I consider it 2.5 because camp in August.
You paid your dues right there, so yeah.
The work was put in, right?
Yeah. So exactly, yeah.
So down at Wofford, you're not playing against any real competition, right? There's just playing at Gateway, right? Were there any players that possibly were decent?
He's being funny because I read the list off too when we were kind of looking at this earlier. This Deshaun Watson guy could buy you a new car probably right now if you like him to. He just got some money, so.
No. So yeah, well, in our conference, we definitely had some competition. Like Devlin Hodges, the Steelers quarterback last year, who started after Big Ben went down.
Took a helmet to the head.
The Duck, right? Was that Duck?
Yeah, the Duck. Yeah, Duck. Yeah. Yep. So he was he was Stanford starting quarterback he was Stanford for 4 years. I think when I was at Wofford, we played him for 3 years. Played him every year. Jarkowski Tart, starting safety for the 49ers defense, one of the best safeties in the league. He was Stanford's starting safety for 2 years when I was there. He was 2 years older than me. I played with a guy at Wofford, Miles Brown, who got a lot of playing time last year for the Cardinals as a DN, D tackle type of guy. So I think every year, actually, I might not know the exact number, but I think the SoCon, the conference I play in, we pump out, I think, 10 to 15 NFL guys a year.
No, that's impressive.
As a conference,
that's awesome.
as a conference, not drafted but signed or on practice squad type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
go ahead.
Can you talk about your time at IT a little bit? I mean, I know a lot of listeners are from Kenosha, and maybe have kids that are in the program or go to IT. What did that do to set you up for college and to prepare you to play at that next level?
Yeah, I think I was very lucky to have. Indian Trail is a very unique situation. I think it's it's very seldom that you have a group of kids coming into a high school where, you know, they're the first people on campus or the first people in the door, and that's what very much our class of 2014. You know, in 2010 when we came in there, coming out of Mahone or, you know, whatever other middle school people came out of, you know, you walk into Indian Trail and you're the only people there. I mean, that's very much what it was.
Yeah.
And the lucky part was we had these varsity coaches coming out of Tremper and Bradford and other schools in the area. They came in as varsity people. They wanted to be a part of something new and wanted to grow it. So we had Coach McKay, Coach Musha, you know, Coach Otto, Coach Ronan, all these people who were tenured coaches at other major varsity programs in the town, and they like took a chance and left and coached us since we were, you know, 14-year-old nobody, and picked us up. And I think that was a major thing because even as freshmen, we were watching film on practice. We were it was a varsity program even when we were 14 years old, and that definitely like drove me to like understand the game more and learn it more. And I'm very blessed to have those people be a part of my football career because they taught me a lot more than I think I would have been taught learning at like a freshman level at any other school.
Yeah, I would really, you know, you play teams like Franklin and Oak Creek where all the middle schools feed into one high school. I would love to see Kenosha develop programs with each of their high schools and their feeder schools where they're coaching that same program at the middle school so they're ready when they get to those high schools.
Exactly right.
You know, I work with the team a little bit at IT. I do their filming. It's not a big deal. I know my kids make fun of me for that, but you know, I think the coaches there are on board with that. It's just getting the rest of the city on board with that type of program. Because, man, when you go up against Franklin, they are tough from the beginning. You know, JV on up, freshman on up.
Yeah,
right.
And actually at IT, you guys started playing varsity. You guys are juniors, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. You guys just played JV teams until then. So I know on the list here a couple guys I want to ask you about real quick. I see names like we talked about Deshaun Watson, Mike Williams, a guy like DK Metcalf, who's a little bigger now than he was when he was in college, I know. But guys like that, I mean, could you see like a Deshaun Watson when you played him? And obviously he was on the way to be a national champion at that time, but when you're on the field with a guy like that and you see him up close and in person, what is it? I mean, is the speed just different from? You can just tell with different guys the speed's different. And the other follow-up question I'll ask you right back to back: did you sack him? I want to know that too.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Deshaun, in my opinion, the big schools, you know, the FBS schools, I think that their starting 11 and our starting 11, they're better. You know, they have 4 stars, 5 stars all across the board, and then a Wofford might not have that. But if you give us the same amount of energy all game, it would be a good game, but they're going to still win. The thing with Clemson was, and they're special. So specifically talking about Deshaun, the most poised and composed player I've ever seen. Even when he got pressure in the pocket, you could have people like within an inch of him and he wasn't moving because he knew where his target was, he knew where his progression was, and he was going to deliver. And if he got hit, it didn't matter because he had that talent, the arm strength and the arm talent to get hit and still be able to finish his play. And so that was the difference. And then the biggest difference about playing those schools was as soon as like the starting people on Wofford subbed out and the Clemson people subbed out, because in football you're always subbing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand is their subs going out every single play. But when Clemson, that type of team subs out, they're subbing in another 4-star recruit. And then when Wofford's subbing in, you know, you're subbing in someone from, you know, rural North Carolina or South Carolina who is a great player, never got the recognition they probably should have, but they're just not that same caliber person. Or they're subbing in a kid from Wisconsin, Kenosha, like me, and you know I'm getting beat up too. So it's a different atmosphere because that's where the big difference is. They get 85 scholarships on their team. In FBS and FCS, they get 65.
Did you play? Did you play at Clemson?
Yep, Death Valley. Yeah, we did.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was the. I think we played in front of 82,000 people that game.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
It's 3/4 of Kenosha.
And my follow-up question was, did you sack him?
No, I got close, and he scrambled out.
But he stood in the pocket and found his target, right?
What he did was, I was getting on him. He stepped up, and he actually scrambled for about 15 yards still for the pylon, and I think he stepped out. Not on purpose. It would have been a touchdown because he dove and hit the pylon, but he stepped out at the 2-yard line.
So you saved a touchdown.
That's awesome.
You scared him to run out of bounds. Good play, Michael. Good play.
At that point, I was so far out of the play, it wasn't even funny.
Well, we'll just leave it at that.
We're just going to say you saved a touchdown against Deshaun Watson.
That's awesome.
So it was great to have you on. Any other questions for him, guys?
I just have one more. I want to know how Coach Cavelli,
Mr. Cavelli.
Mr. Cavelli, I want to know how he put you in the right place here to have your successful run with.
Well, no, to be honest, I give Coach Cavelli a lot of credit because he was the first person I think in my whole football career to put me at the end.
You played to the end, yeah, you did. Because what did you play the year before that? Because I took team over when you guys were in 6th grade, not 5th grade. Where did you play before that? Where do you have you playing the coach before me?
I think I was middle. I was middle linebacker and then a running back, and then I think you wanted me to be on the end, just because in CYC it's whatever it is. But you put me at end, but I started learning how to bend the edge more.
Yeah.
And a big part of football is being able to cut off a half of the field. So in football, when you have your best players, and in college, I don't know if I ever was that, but I played with people on our team who were really good. So when you have your best player, if you're able to put your D end or your outside linebacker on a certain side of the field, and no matter what, you're going to collect 2 blocks, 3 blocks on that side, that opens up the whole other side of the field.
And that's okay. That's okay. You want that to happen.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where I started to understand football more. And then in high school, it actually translated middle school, Mr. Cavelli, because my 8th grade year, I played D end for the Mustangs at Mahone, and then all through high school, I was D end, and then I got recruited as a D end into an outside backer at Wofford. So it all actually started with our CYC 49er team.
Wow.
See, I guess I'm a scout of where you should play. I guess.
So actually, Mr. Cavelli stopped Deshaun Watson.
Wow! His head's gonna explode after this.
Wow! So wow!
Come on!
Wow! Well, that's great.
I don't know if we stopped and they put up I think 49 points on us.
Well, it's not bad. Most teams that are in your situation probably give up way more than that. So,
Hey, Michael, you going to come back on the show in a couple months? You're a great guest.
Oh yeah, I would love to come. Yeah.
Maybe think up a couple of on-the-road stories or something that happened, Maybe that's adult audiences.
I have a question for you guys, basketball-wise. How do you guys feel about the Bucks versus the Heat?
These guys will tell you, and Eric here is a huge Bucks fan. I'm a Bucks fan, obviously. And you're a Bucks fan, obviously, Michael, too?
Yep.
And I said, when the playoffs started, I was selling on the Bucks from day one, and hate to say I was right. I hate to say it.
Did you still pick them, though?
Well, but I picked them, and when I picked them that night, I said I'm still selling them because I don't think they can get there. And now with Giannis getting hurt today, too, even they won today, it's over. It was over. It was this. We talked about it earlier. This looks just like the Toronto series all over, but it started way earlier. Nobody can make shots around Giannis. Nobody can make shots. That's the problem.
Do you think Giannis has a big hole in his game, or
it's that 15-foot jumper? That's the problem.
There it is, right there. Because what these teams are doing, what the Raptors did last year, and what the Heat are doing, they build a wall. And if they build a wall, if he could just step back and hit that 15-footer, like Kevin Durant.
I want to say it started with that Celtics series last year. I noticed it.
Well,
where they were doing that same thing. They were kind of getting 2 guys and just stopping him from his 14-step, no bounce.
It was
drive.
more obvious Raptors. It's been obvious all year with the Heat. Yeah, it's if he could just, I think more work on that versus the 3. I mean, because he really was working hard on the 3 this year. To be able to step back and hit that mid-ranger would do it.
Yeah.
And then maybe we need another clutch player in there.
Yeah.
And then do you guys know that you have a Southeastern Wisconsin person in that game?
Yeah,
in that series?
Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tyler hit. It's funny because Ed got here. On Ed's way over here, it said that, what did he say, Tyler had?
Tyler had like 5 points.
And then he got here and he had 19. Well, because he hit the 3 threes, he had
14 points.
Add 9 points to that.
By the time I got out of the car and walked over.
Yeah, it was incredible how quickly he hit those threes. And the Bucks need a guy like that. I mean, they have Corver, but Corver might be on the way down. You need a guy on the way up, like Tyler.
Well, and they have 2 of them. They have Duncan Robinson also.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson. All he does is shoot threes.
Yeah, he's better.
He's the Cal Corver of today. So
yeah, the Heat did a very good job over the last few years as far as the draft goes. I mean,
so my closing question for you, Michael. I just thought of this. That's what I was going to ask you. What is your most memorable? Let's just say play. Let's just go to high school. What's your most memorable play ever for you in high school?
It would probably be
your personal play, not a team thing. Let's go with an I. I know it's an I in team, but something you did that you're just like, that was the best thing I've ever done in high school football. That's my pick right there.
I think it probably we played Oak Creek our senior year, and I think we were up 7-0, and then we got the ball back, and I was tight end, and I ran like a little flat route across the middle, and I think we were on our own 10 or 15 yard line. And I caught a flat route, and I took it 85 yards and dove at the 5 yard line into the end zone. But I got flipped because the guy hit me when I dove, and I still had the ball and landed on my back and everything, and it was a touchdown. So I think that was one of my favorite moments, probably.
Well, Michael, like Ed said, maybe we'll get you back on mid-season. Maybe talk a little more football. Maybe get your insight on the football season, NFL. And maybe
I would love to.
Yeah, get us a few more stories about maybe college stories. Let you throw a couple more in. Maybe a little more less of us and more of you. So, Michael, thank you very much, and you have a great one.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, next time you're in town, let us know. We'll have a beer together.
Oh yeah, you guys know it. I'll have to walk up to Mr. Cavelli's garage again.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Yeah,
I love how you call him Mr. Cavelli. That's just great.
He is that old, so.
The last time he was kind of stumbling up to his garage, I remember.
Yes.
I think I had a bad ankle. That didn't have any.
Sure. Anyway, we would want to make fun of you real quick on the way out because when you texted me about I was going to get a hold of you for the show, you're like, "Is it okay if I have a few beers?" And I told these guys they almost all fell off their chairs because we've been drinking the whole time we're down here doing this. So
it's 5:30.
We've been drinking since March.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Since COVID started, we've been drinking since then. So thank you, Michael, again, and you have a good one, buddy. Take care.
Yep. Appreciate it, guys. Stay safe up there.
Yep, thanks. Well, that was a great interview with Michael Roach. Nice kid, Kenosha kid. Great to see Kenosha doing well, and I'm glad he's healthy and living life. So we're moving on to the NFL preview part of the show, guys.
Oh my gosh, really?
It's time for the sounds that we've been waiting to hear for the last 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it is. So our first NFL story is Jay Cutler was spotted out.
Friend of the show.
That's how we start.
Yeah.
We finally get here. We start with Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler.
Come on.
Spotted out with Fox News host Tommy Lauren, correct? Is that her name?
Yes.
Tommy Lauren. And he denied it with his cow on Twitter, on Instagram. Said his cow was the only girl for him. But they were seen drinking tequila out of the same bottle. Not a COVID way to do it, though. And then left together. Hope he was wearing a mask when he got with her later. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's friend of the show, Jay Cutler, still knocking on the park with the women.
Sounds like he may have drank out of more than the bottle.
So now it's time for football, guys. Football is back this coming Thursday. Or it'll be, you'll probably listen to this around then. But Thursday, Chiefs, Houston, in KC. Right now, we're in the basement of Arrowhead right now, waiting for the game to start. We're going to sneak up and watch the game.
And there'll be fans.
Yeah, they're going to allow 16,000 or something like
17,
that.
yeah.
So,
Tyreek Hill just kicked me while I was down over here.
So let's start off with our picks for the year. And I know we did a predictor, or some of us did. I don't know if everybody did. But we can get me and Eric did ours, so we're going to do our predictors. Glenn and actually, Willie will do his, and Ed will do his next time.
Willie.
They can be on. They'll go for predictors, correct? You guys will add your predictors later. Your predictors.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually.
Okay. So what do you have, Eric? So we're gonna go from division to division. Okay. And what do you have in the AFC? Maybe North. The Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Broncos. Browns. What do you got going on there?
So you want me to just list every record here?
Yeah, just say what you got.
Okay, I'll go fairly quickly. I got Ravens 14-2.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
I got Cleveland 10-6.
Okay.
Pittsburgh 8-8. Cincinnati 3-13.
Okay. And obviously you have the Ravens winning the division. So
yeah.
So maybe let's do it this way. Let's name our winner of the division and the wild card is one of the division. We'll skip everybody else. Okay. So mine in that division, I have the Ravens 12-4, and they'll be the number 2 seed, and I'll have the Steelers being the 5 seed, 11-5, with the Browns and Bengals missing the playoffs.
Yeah. So I actually have the Ravens the 1 seed.
Yep.
And then I have Cleveland as the 6.
Perfect. So in the next division, AFC South, what do you got going on there? Who do you got making the playoffs, if anybody? Well, besides the division.
Well, yeah, I got the Titans as 12-4.
Okay.
And I have Houston 11-5. So that would be Tennessee would be the 3 seed, and no, Houston is a 5. I'm sorry, 5 seed. Yep.
I have Tennessee 11-5, and I have Houston 9-7. But with the 9-7, Houston misses the playoffs, and Tennessee's the only team that makes the playoffs at the 4 seed.
So where do you have? So I have Tennessee, or I have Indianapolis 7-9. I know they're a popular pick. I have them 7-9, and I have Jacksonville winning 1 game.
I have winning 2.
So why do you guys have Tennessee playing so well this year? Is it Ryan Tannehill? You like what he saw?
I like Derrick Henry.
I just think that the vision is set up for them to be good at it. And what they did last year in the playoffs, that defense, plus adding Clowney, as we're going to talk about
Clowney's
later.
Huge. I think
that defense shut down the best offense in football and made him look mediocre for 1 game. And that's what I do.
I like Mike Vrabel. I mean, Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach, defensive coach, of course. Henry's a beast.
Yeah, and if he stays healthy, that's the problem. Health is a big issue with Henry, so we'll see. And A.J. Brown came out at the end of the year last year and was huge at the end. So, but I just like the division setup. I don't know. And once again, in Texas, I got them at 9-7, so they're not making the playoffs, mine, but they could.
So where do you have Indy?
Indy at 8-8.
Okay, and they seem to be somewhat of a popular pick. But 500. That's about their ceiling.
So the AFC East, what do you got looking at?
So now I have Buffalo, 11-5, and I have Miami 9-7, New England 3-13,
3-13,
and Jets equally 3-13. So the only team then that's in is Buffalo.
So
and Buffalo would be my 4.
For my AFC East, I have 3 teams making the playoffs in the AFC East.
What?
I have the Patriots 11-5 being the 3 seed. I have the Dolphins 10-6 being the 6 seed, and I have the Buffalo Bills 9-7 being the 7th seed. I just think Miami plays better this year. I just can't sell the Patriots yet.
No.
If they throw Cam Newton in there and Cam Newton can buy into the system and do what he has to do, they're the same team with a more athletic quarterback. Okay, I'm not beating up Tom. I'm not saying I take Tom Brady over Cam Newton. Cam Newton's injury issues. Any day he could be done in Game 3 and be hurt. I'm not saying that, but just with the makeup of the Division 2 and the rest of the league, rest of the AFC, I don't know. I just can't sell Belichick until he's actually done.
Belichick should win 5 games without a team.
Yeah, Belichick, his coaching alone probably wins.
And another 2 wins from their film crew. You know?
Well, and it could be. I mean, it could be by design too. I mean, they had a lot of guys opt out, and they have. I mean, so I don't. It's and I'm with you on New England and Belichick, but I picked.
You're with them. You have them 3-13.
No,
holy cow!
But I picked them winning a couple.
That was me.
I picked them winning a couple games early, but then I'm like, okay, I think Miami's, and I had Miami losing early, but then kind of figuring it out, and that's I think based on Tua is going to get the start maybe week 5 or 6, and Miami's going to become a better team because I think he's got the potential. But
Tua.
Yeah, I was shocked when I was done with the exercise and I saw that they were 3-13. I'm like, oh my god.
Tua must be good, though, because he beat out Josh Rosen.
Is that guy still alive?
He got cut.
Yeah. I saw that.
So Tua beat out Josh Rosen for the number 2 pick. So Tua's destined for great things. He beat out Josh Rosen.
For the number Rosen 2. Already got picked up, though, didn't he?
They were talking.
He got picked up today.
Yeah.
Who picked him up today?
It was a great landing spot for him.
Oh, no, Tampa.
Yeah,
Everybody
Tampa
goes to
Bay.
Tampa. Everybody.
Giannis is going to Tampa.
Giannis,
As I saw earlier,
yeah.
me.
Yep.
I heard Kevin Durant's thinking about going to Tampa too. LeBron might
just
go
signed.
there.
He just signed.
He just signed. So
That
great
tennis
wide
player that hit
receiver.
the ladies going to Tampa Bay.
Djokovic is going to Tampa Bay. I didn't hear it.
I think Luka might go there. He likes
Wow.
yeah, you never know. So the AFC South. I'm guessing we're going to agree on this one.
I got Chiefs 13-3.
I do too.
Chargers 8-8.
Nope.
Vegas. And even though he thinks they're going to be 16-0 with the spidered Y2 banana, I got them 6-10. The Z route over to the tight end.
Listen to this one. What?
Denver 1-15, baby.
Oh! I have the 13-3 Chiefs, and then I have 2 6-10s with the Raiders and the Chargers, and the Broncos 4-12.
Is their schedule that tough where they're...
That's how
Eric's got them winning one game.
One game.
Once again,
They got a great quarterback.
They still got a good
that
defense.
guy.
They still got Drew Lock. They got Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Yeah, that guy.
One game.
So let's go to the NFC South.
Okay, so you only have then the Chiefs in the playoffs.
That's
then.
it.
Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
So the NFC, not South, the NFC West. The what do you got?
We're doing a snake draft then.
We're going up. Yep, going up. We'll leave the North for last.
This was the shocking thing to me is that for some reason I really, really like Arizona. I don't know why, but I do have San Francisco at 13-3, and then I have Arizona also at 13-3. Seattle 9-7, and the Los Angeles Rams 8-8. So I have. I
just want to bring something up about Arizona, and you could be totally right because it's New Year.
Yeah.
But did you? No, let me finish. I'm not making fun of the Packers.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch the Packers defense against San Fran last year? That's how Arizona's defense played all last year.
Yeah. They're worse.
But their offense might be better. You might be right with DeAndre, and they might be that shootout team.
He has them going 13-1 against the rest of the league.
And it's weird because I picked them a lot early, and then I'm like, oh my god! I kept looking as I'm doing the thing, and I'm like, oh my god!
And I wish I would show you when you did.
Why do I have Arizona? Yeah. Why do I have Arizona winning so many games? And then I started to pick them to lose. But yeah, I have them 13-3. I think.
When did you start picking them to lose after week 13?
Pretty much. I think I had them actually at 13-1 at one point. And
wow.
I don't know. I like Kyler Murray.
You know what? If they go 13-3, Eric, I'll buy you a bottle of bourbon. You guys all heard it right here. Any bottle you want, I'll buy it for you.
Hey, Eric, I'm looking at your notes. Don't you have Arizona at 9-7? Don't you have those flip-flopped?
No, this is just how I wrote it out.
Yeah.
So I have Seattle at 9-7, not making the playoffs.
I think the wiser you flipped them, and now you're back.
That's how I had it.
My division is a lot different. I have 3 teams making the playoffs, and Arizona isn't one of them. And I'm not trying to be funny.
So you have the Rams.
I actually have the Rams winning, but today I was watching something. Nobody likes the Rams, but I like them at 12-4. I think the bounce back. Aaron Donald's a beast.
They got a better running back now,
and they got two youthful running backs. So I got to worry about appeasing Todd Gurley.
Right.
They can just play the game. Hopefully that helps. But I got them 12-4, 49ers 11-5, and the Seattle Seahawks at 10-5. So 3 10-game winners in that division. That's what I have.
You have to go out on a limb because it is 2020. You have to say. Fuck it, it's 2020, right? You have to just be like
COVID.
You just have to be like maybe Washington wins the Super Bowl. I don't know, right?
Let's talk about the East. I'll tell you about
Speaking of Washington
win the Super Bowl. Go ahead and do the East.
Oh, okay. Well, can we start with Washington?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I got them 1-15.
I have them 0-16.
I like it. How good do you have the Giants? Because I have them also 1-15.
3-13.
And I have Dallas 11-5. I'm going uphill here. Oh no, I have Philly 10-6 and Dallas 11-5. Sorry.
I have Philly at 12-4, and actually Dallas missed in the playoffs with 10 wins.
Could happen.
So that means I have Philly as my 7.
I have Philly as my 2 seed.
And I have Dallas as my 3.
So let's go to the NFC South, the division that might be watched the most this year between Tom and Drew, if they both finish the whole season without getting hurt.
So this was tough.
It actually is the most intriguing division, hands down. Those 2 teams this year being... You could see them play each other twice, which is a pretty cool thing.
And when I went through the season, I had Tampa Bay losing a lot of... I had them losing a couple games early, and then I had them losing games that they probably should win, but then I had them figuring out and winning some big games is what I kind of had. So just to go through it up from the bottom up, I have Carolina 5-11. I have Atlanta 9-7, Tampa 11-5, and then New Orleans 14-2. So Tampa would be my 6th seed. New Orleans is my 1.
Well, since I picked Tampa to win the Super Bowl in Tampa, I said that earlier.
It never happens. Look at Minnesota.
Tampa,
They were there.
Tampa is going to be the number 1 seed, 13-3. New Orleans is 6, 11-5. The Falcons will be at 7-9, but hanging out all year, probably be a pestering team to all those teams because they can always they're a sneaky team, so they might you never know. And then I have the Panthers at 4-12. I just don't think they have enough talent to win four games.
Not in that division.
With Teddy Bridgewater,
Christian McCaffrey's terrible, and DJ Moore, he's horrible.
Yeah, well, not. I'm just saying. I don't think
you need
our
more than
defense-
3 guys.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem. Is that like I have this gut feeling that Carolina is going to be good, but then when I went through it, I got them 5-11.
And the thing about Tampa, I'm never a guy to jump on a bandwagon of a team.
You're on it.
But this is not.
Did you pick the Browns to go 15-1 last year?
No, this is not. This is not a Daniel Schneider free agency team. It's not they just threw a bunch of guys together. Their guys they picked up are legit. Tom Brady, obviously, he is older, which we'll see. But Gronkowski, you read articles about him right now. He looks better than he did when he's lost weight. He's injury free now.
Well, now you 2 years to relax from all those concussions.
And now they had a running back problem. They didn't know who they were going to start. They had Ronald Jones. He'll start Keyshawn, but then they signed Leonard Fournette, 26 years old, and he's one of the best runners in football on a bad team.
Yeah.
So now you're playing him on a team. So I just think
He's got an attitude problem, though.
And Tampa's defense, if you look at the stats last year, they were great through 3 quarters. The fourth quarter was terrible. We're not on the field a lot and getting a lot of turnovers against you, like pick sixes and stuff. Jermaine, no offense to Winston, but that's what he did. I just think they're going to be their defense going to be way better in the fourth quarter this year, and I just think they're not just window dressing. I think they're a good team. I really do.
Yeah, Brady with that solid receiving core. And
this is the best he's ever played with.
Strong tight end. There's 3 tight ends you can put out there at any
This
time.
is the best group of guys he's ever played with.
Yeah.
And group.
How is the offensive line?
They're a good offense line. They're actually solid.
How's the defense?
Like I said, 3-quarter defense. Now they're going to play 4.
He doesn't really even need
Tampa
it.
2, John.
Do they play the Tampa 2?
He doesn't even need an offensive line.
Just him and Lovey do. Just him and Lovey. That's
He's going to have so many, safety valves on that team with all those tight ends and running backs and catch the ball. Look at New England; didn't have the greatest offensive line.
And Fournette is an underrated pass catcher. He catches the ball and can run the ball the out backfield. He's underrated.
He had like 70-some catches last year.
Yeah, so this is a monster of. It's bad for fantasy because you draft one. It's like, it's gonna be one of those things. But for a team aspect, I just think this team, unless something crazy happens, they are not going to win less than 10, 11 games. It'd be surprising.
There is a lot of talent there.
Oh, and it's legit
tight
talent.
ends. I mean,
it's not
crazy.
overpaid talent. It's legit talent.
Can you shake loose some of those tight ends? I mean,
Why?
Can other teams have them?
Why?
Because we want them.
You know, Aaron Rodgers will throw them anyway.
We run the
Don't matter.
Gronk
He don't like
3-0-2-0 wide banana.
Okay, let's move to NFC North. NFC
No,
North.
I don't want to talk about the NFC North.
Go ahead. The Packers are winning 14 games.
No. And I had them losing actually early, but I do have them 11-5, and I have Minnesota 9-7, Detroit 5-11, and your Chicago Bears 6-10. So I have the Packers as the 4, and I have Minnesota. Do I have them out?
Out.
They're out.
I have the
O-U-T.
Lions at 3-13.
Yep.
I have the Packers, Vikings, and Bears all 9-7.
Ooh, that'd
That
be
is
great.
interesting. Well, how does that work out?
In
How does that
mine,
shake
the
out?
Bears worked out. They are the 4 seed, and because they won the division. And I don't know how it did. I took basically for the Packers, Vikings, and Green Bay. When I picked them all at home against each other.
Yeah, splitting all of them.
I split them all, and they all swept Detroit. So the Bears must have beat a like opponent or something weird. I don't know. But like I said, all 9-7, it could be any of them. That's what I'm saying.
It's
That's
tough.
my feeling. It's any one of them.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, and obviously you're a Bears fan. I'm a Packer fan. And I picked the Packers to lose. I lose 49ers, lose to the Saints. But I'm like, I even had them lose to the Bears. I had them lose to the Bears in the second matchup. I had them lose to Minnesota. I have them losing to Minnesota this week.
Yeah, opening day.
So, but again, I think that they can beat Minnesota at home. I think they could beat the Bears at home. I think they could beat the Lions. And then I actually have them kind of upsetting a couple teams. Like I have them beating the Eagles, and I have them beating, in a couple other places where you think maybe they won't.
Ed is
I think they're a decent team.
Ed is a Packer fan, but as the voice of reason usually. I'm not saying this out of thing, but out of all three of those teams, I think the Packers have the least talent on their roster.
But the quarterback?
Once again, I'm just saying least talent. I'm not saying I mean, you don't think the Vikings have more talent?
Yeah, I would say I'd say the Vikings on offense have the most
and
talent.
defensively, the Bears probably have the best talent.
But you break it all down position by position, and I
if you
guess
got a point
you have to
per
look
position, there's 22 points. I bet the Packers come in third.
You got to look at the
thing.
differences. Okay, it's fine.
And
Whatever. Let's let the season play out.
Well, the Packers might have the best quarterback and the best running back. Are real close.
Yeah. Well, Dalvin Cook's
not running defensive ends are good.
I meant wide receiver with
and defensive ends.
Scott, do you have a problem with the defensive ends in the Packers?
No, they're good defensive ends.
And the safety position is pretty well suited. It's the same old problems. The same thing you saw when you watched them play San Francisco. The middle of the defense is shit. It's shit. And it's going to be shit again. I mean, we brought Kirkley in, and we finally found that we had a rookie that was like, oh, God, we believe in him. He's hurt. I mean, the middle linebacker position, the safeties are...
This is what bothers me about, Bears fans that hate Ryan Pace. So, Ryan Pace, they go on sign Robert Quinn. And they got to go with Mack and hopefully get the pass rush you need from both sides. That what flips me about the Packers is that they go in, and once again, the draft is totally different. They did what they wanted to, I understand. But the free agency, did they make an attempt at like a middle linebacker? Did they make an attempt at something like a defensive? And there's a tackle out there we're going to talk about later, I think, that fit the Packers, maybe for a 1-year rental, and I'll talk about him a little bit. And I thought, right when I saw his name on this list of guys that were cut and are available, he came to mind for the Packers. And I think they don't have, and they do have the tackle everybody loves, but you need to have, as Michael Roach just said in the interview a minute ago, it's a rotation process. No guy can play 80 snaps a game.
Yeah.
It's not, only guy that plays every snap is the quarterback and the offensive line, right? We all agree, basically? That's the only guy who plays every single snap in a game. Everybody else gets rotated out at some point. So you need depth, and like I said, I agree with you. I mean, we agree on the whole.
Yeah, I think so.
We all agree to stop.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
In maybe past years I have, but I'm not drinking the green and gold Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I know what the problems are. Of course, I'm picking them. They're probably more like a 10-16.
Well, and that's
or 9, like you said, 9-7.
Yeah, 9-7.
I'm not going to be shocked if that's the case.
Yeah, and I think the Bears' ceiling is 9-7, maybe 10. But I think Minnesota and Green Bay have higher ceilings to 10, 11 wins. I do personally, and I'm not lying about that. But I think to see them all 9-7 would not surprise me. But then, like I said last week, if they're all 3 9-7, I bet one of those teams go pretty deep in the playoffs because they're going to be battle tested. Like, I mean, that team's going to have to fight till the final week. So high on Tampa, I don't think none of them beat Tampa. I don't. Do you think anyone beat Tampa or New Orleans on the road in a playoff game?
I don't know. Let's talk about the playoffs now. Wild card weekend. Let's go.
Okay, wild card weekend. I have. What do you have for wild card weekend? Who's your matchups?
So I got Houston, Buffalo.
Okay.
Cleveland, Tennessee, and Miami, KC.
Who you got moving on?
So I have Tennessee moving on.
Who will they play?
They'll play KC.
I have that too.
That's
cute.
Buffalo moving on to play the 1 seed Baltimore.
Oh, I have the wrong thing. Never mind. I'm looking at something.
Okay, so then, do you want me to go NFC or do you want to go?
No, go. So who's your
punch for punch, Scott?
Okay, yeah.
Come on.
So I have
threw a jab. You
Titans,
throw
Steelers.
Steelers.
Bill. Yeah, I had them 11-5. Right. As long as Ben stays healthy, I think they won 8 games last year with Duck
rapists
and Mason Rudolph, and no running game.
Really any offense. Michael Roach played against.
Yeah, their defense. I'm going to tell you right now, their defense will be a top.
Well, they're
1 or 2
they're a
with
great
a good
organization.
offense.
I'm not disagreeing.
No, I'm just saying though.
They were on my outside. They're just on the outside looking in for me.
I actually think if they won the division and beat the Ravens, wouldn't surprise me this year. If Roethlisberger stays healthy, that's what I'm saying. I'd stick to it.
I've got the Ravens losing in the first round and Lamar Jackson only completing 7 passes
and having his tattoo removed.
Big trust.
So I have Titans, Steelers, Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Patriots. Patriots, Ravens, second round. Titans, Chiefs, because Chiefs are my number 1 seed.
How the hell did we get the Dolphins here? We both have the Dolphins. It's crazy.
I'm telling you, man, right now, man, they were Dolphins.
This is for Armando. This
Dolphins,
is for your dad.
The really. Falcons, which the Dolphins, the Falcons, and one other team, and I can't remember. I was watching. Falcons and Dolphins were were like last 7 weeks were the hottest teams in football last year. They played the best football on the way out.
Well, didn't the Dolphins have like 14 draft picks last year or something? It was something stupid.
Still have 2 first rounders.
Okay, so what do you have moving on from that? Your second round matchup in the AFC.
I have KC beating Tennessee.
Okay.
And then I have Baltimore beating Buffalo.
Okay, I have KC beating Tennessee, and I have the Baltimore beating the Patriots.
Okay.
It's close.
The 3-13 Patriots? So let's go.
No, Belichick gets in. Just
So
because
we have to
Belichick.
start. We got to keep going all the way to Super Bowl.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the AFC. Okay.
Chiefs, Ravens. I got. You do too. Who do you have?
Well, I have Baltimore in the Super Bowl.
I do too.
Look at you.
So let's go to the NFC. I have Seahawks, Eagles, Bears, Niners, Saints, Rams. I have the Eagles beating the Seahawks. I have the Bears beating the 49ers. And the Saints beating the Rams. And playing the Buccaneers then.
Is this 1985?
Yeah.
Anyhow, okay. So am I up?
Yep.
He's confused now.
So I don't even know. Is Rex Grossman on this? No, I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
Arizona,
Orton.
Yeah, Kyle Orton. There we go.
Wait, stop. The guy talking about me picking the Bears is about to say Arizona in the playoffs.
Arizona, Green Bay.
Hey, they got Kyler Murray, though.
No, that's the only reason he put Arizona in so he can have Green Bay win the first round. Is that what happened?
Tampa. No.
You have Arizona beating Green Bay then.
Wait a minute. No. Just would you wait?
Go ahead.
God, why are we jumping the gun?
2 hour show.
Hey, Jay Cutler. This is why. What's his name? Divorced Jay Cutler. I got Arizona, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Philly, San Francisco, and then I got. So I got Green Bay. Obviously, moving on. Shut up.
He's not drinking the
Against San Francisco.
He's wearing a Green Bay shirt as he says it.
I got Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Those are the two matchups. I have San Francisco beating Green Bay.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Because they'll probably run for 245 yards.
They'll get better, 180.
Well, if they get a running back, they're going to kill him.
I have New Orleans, who will stand. Well, their quarterback will stand for the flag, and they'll beat Tampa Bay. So I have San Fran, New Orleans. Should I keep going?
I have the Eagles against the Bears, and the Eagles beating the Bears. And I have the Buccaneers against the Saints, and the Buccaneers moving on to the conference semifinals. Or conference finals, I'm sorry.
So we're at the championship round.
Yep. I have Buccaneers, Eagles. Who do you have?
You got San Fran, New Orleans.
Okay, I have the Buccaneers in the bowl. And who do you have?
I have New Orleans.
So you have New Orleans, Ravens. Who's winning it?
True frickin' breeze.
Yeah. I got Chiefs, Saints.
That's what I picked.
Saints winning it.
Chiefs, Saints.
That's what I picked early in the year, too, was New Orleans winning it.
I know I picked the Buccaneers. I can't remember who I had them playing, but I have Buccaneers, Ravens, which I believe I picked that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to...
You had Buccaneers, Dolphins, I think.
No, I had Dolphins making it, but not winning it. I have Buccaneers, Ravens, and I have Tampa Bay winning at Raymond James Stadium.
Jesus.
First time in 88 years.
Ever.
Drew Brees is going to he's just going to dial up the biggest middle finger ever when he wins the Super Bowl this year, and then he wins the MVP, and he's going to stand up and he's going to just give the biggest FU to the NFL, and he's going to retire.
Okay, so another new segment we got going on here, not new, but it's going to be for the football season. Our locks of the week and our underdog pick of the week. So Willie/Glenn, who are your locks of the week and your upset pick of the week? So three locks straight up and one underdog straight up.
So week one, I didn't go real crazy. I got Kansas beating Houston, Baltimore beating Cleveland, and Buffalo beating the Jets for my locks. Upsets, it's only a 3-point spread. I picked Vegas beating Carolina. No, I didn't do that. Carolina beating Vegas. Sorry, I read that backwards.
Vegas and spread sounds so good.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
I just like how Bridgewater ended, his time at St. Louis or New Orleans. And, you got Christian McCaffrey there.
Okay, Eric?
My locks, again, I'm not going on too much of a limb. Baltimore over Cleveland, Saints over Tampa Bay, Kansas City in the opener against Houston. My upset is not, again, it's just week one. It's too hard to gamble. It's too hard to go on too much of a limb, but I got Atlanta beating Seattle. It's a 1.5 spread.
Okay, and there, Ed, what we got going on?
Yeah, I got Buffalo beating the Jets. I've got Indianapolis beating Jacksonville, and you guys hate Indianapolis over there.
They suck.
Not for one game.
What was the other one I had here? Oh, I had Pittsburgh beating the 1-15 Giants, according to you guys. And my upset, I got the Bears beating Detroit, who's favored by 3. That seems like a pretty easy one there. Detroit's horrible.
Okay, and I've got Philly Special beating the football team. And I have the 49ers beating the Cardinals.
What? I have that too.
Kyler Murray, 4 touchdowns.
I have probably
3 more running.
What's the spread on that?
The 49ers are favored by 6 or 7, maybe even 8 it is.
I think it was
7.
7, yeah.
touchdown.
And I have the Steelers going in Monday Night Football, going to New York and beating the Giants. And my upset, straight up pick is the Miami Dolphins over the Patriots to start the season.
And you have the Patriots in the playoffs.
They can
Yeah, but only at like, what would you have, 9 or 10 wins? or
11
something?
and 10. That was
Yeah.
man, you have to lose 5.
Yeah,
There's one.
Yeah, what's your
Spread
thing
out
to go
the
the
game,
other?
what, 6.5?
I thought about it going the other way, and I was actually shocked that I am 3-13. But
The Miami team's good. Who's quarterbacking? Fitzgerald?
are they called the Miami football team?
Fitzpatrick?
Ryan Fitzpatrick, yeah.
Fitzjohnson?
Yeah.
Are they called the Miami football team?
It's called Fitzmagic.
Fitzmagic,
Magic.
So 6 kids
Couple.
makes them hungry.
So we're talking about football now, finally. So I want to bring up a stat line to you. Ready? This is a comparison of 2 players. You guys can't see this, right?
No, I'm not even
cheating.
looking.
I could see it backwards, but through the...
Stop looking.
Scott, put your pants back on so we can concentrate.
Okay, pants back on. Here we go.
Yeah.
So these are 2 players, 2018, 2019. I'm going to give you some stats, okay? There's player A, 66% completion percentage. Player B, 67%. Your quarterback rating is 98 and 100, A and B. Touchdowns thrown. Player A has thrown 52. Player B, 52. Interceptions. Player A, 19. Player B, 21. Guess what 2 players those are?
I'm going Rodgers and Cousins.
No. No. That's a good one. I'll go pull that one out, but I won't that because these are guys. One guy just got a big fat contract. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Deshaun.
And one guy wants a contract.
Dak.
Really?
Done.
Those are easy. Easy.
So
he gave it away.
I went from being Dak's crazy to being on Team Dak now because he deserved it.
yeah, if Deshaun's getting it, why
Let's
not?
be honest. And they both had the same playoff wins.
So
one.
what is the Dak-
And to be honest, not Deshaun. Dak could have 2 if it wasn't for Jared Cook and Aaron Rodgers making a great play. That could be easily 2 wins for Dak.
Yeah.
It's just one play. It was a great play by both players, Jared and Jared Cook and Aaron Rodgers. But that don't happen. He could have 2 wins in the playoffs, and who knows what would happen after that for the Cowboys. So it's crazy. Those
So
are
who's
the
A and B?
Dak is A, and Deshaun was B. So Deshaun has 1% higher completions, 2 points higher in the rating, but they both have the same amount of touchdowns, and actually Dak has thrown less picks.
I was just gonna say the picks is what.
Yeah,
set
2
it
less
apart.
picks.
So what is is Dakota Prescott? Is he under the franchise tag then?
Yes, this year.
Okay.
So next year he'll be.
I'm calling him Dakota. All
There'll be
year.
a chance for him to move up, but Deshaun's contract.
He just signed an extension.
Was a big one.
4 for 160.
Yeah, congratulations to him. That's awesome to see. Yep, 4-year 160. Going to pay him around $27 million. Or he's got a $27 million signing bonus, and his yearly rate will be around just below. He's the second highest paid behind Mahomes now.
I want to say.
I heard that. Yeah.
I want to put on there that Kenosha's own Michael Roach saved a touchdown.
Against Deshaun Watson.
Made him scramble, run out of bounds because he was scared.
What did
because
you
of the
ask
coaching
Michael
from-
what the final
from Mr.
score
Cavelli.
of that game was?
49-0, I think it was, or 49
No, it was
something.
49 something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him what his biggest win was because I knew it wasn't Clemson.
He'll be
Leaving
back.
Kenosha was his biggest.
Getting the hell out of here.
Another thing, not because I'm a Bear fan, but just bring it up. Trubisky did win the job against Foles in Chicago. He'll be starting game 1 against Detroit. That's why I'm guessing I'd pick the Bears.
Yeah.
He'll be kissing titties the first week, and the
Sunday?
second week he's going to be kissing bench.
Sundays are kissing titties. That's what we heard. So this week's Basement Benchwarmers Comedian of the Week is John Reap, talking about NFL mascots.
All right, so who's your favorite NFL team? Just yell it out. Me too. I'm from North Carolina. I like the Panthers, Carolina Panthers. That's what a panther does. I know that because I went to a game and they play that sound effect like every 15 seconds. Jake Delhomme just scratched his nads. We moved the ball 2 inches. Like, I get it, we're a panther. It's like there's some dude on crack and he broke into the booth and he locked the door and he's got a see and say. You know, he's like, the Panther says. Do other teams do that? I've never heard first down Philadelphia Eagles. Interception by the Miami Dolphins. We'll squirt you at that hole in her head. touchdown, Dallas Cowboys. Yeehaw!
So that is John Reap, comedian, with his take on mascots. So our next step, since we heard Jake Delhomme in there, that was a fantasy legend. So we're going to go to our snake draft, and Glenn is here. Glenn's snake draft. Top fantasy players, in your opinion. It could be a guy that led you to a championship, could be a guy you just thought was awesome in fantasy. Doesn't matter. So we're going to start it off tonight with Glenn. We'll go to Eric, Ed, then myself. So Glenn, you start us up with your fantasy pick.
This guy was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. Randall Cunningham, specifically 1990 with the Eagles. 3,466 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, a career best 942 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. In most leagues, it was about 23 points per game is what he carried.
Nice. Eric, who do you got?
Well, my favorite pick, and he's won me multiple championships, was a guy that just got cut the other day and now is picked up by the Detroit Lions, and that's Adrian Peterson. Won me a couple championships, most specifically 2012 when I took him off an injury year, and he rushed for over 2,000 yards. Adrian Peterson.
Is it my turn? Because I'm going to take the greatest fantasy player ever, LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian.
Yeah, 28 touchdowns one year. Yeah, pretty good.
I am going to take someone that would probably change LT's diaper, and that would be Marshall Falk. He was the reason PPR was invented.
Yeah.
And my second pick, I'm going to go with somebody else that was one of the greatest running backs for fantasy. It was Terrell Davis, hands down. It was insane for those 2-3 years he was around. So I got TD, and I have... I can't remember.
Marshall Falk.
Marshall Falk.
The second greatest fantasy player ever.
Ed, go ahead.
Well, I'm going with the guy with the second greatest year, and it was last year, was McCaffrey. I don't think he's going to repeat it this year, but like you guys said, the whole team sucks, so
Yeah,
you never know.
A lot of catches. Eric?
So that same fantasy season of 2012, I also had a guy by the name of Kelvin Johnson on my team that almost had 2,000 yards receiving, and multiple times I had him, just was a complete stud. Kelvin Johnson retired way too early.
At the tight end position, I always liked Antonio Gates. He was always pretty solid.
Yeah. Glenn likes tight ends.
It's better than... Never mind.
Eric likes wide receivers.
And then just for that, so my next pick then is Brett Favre. He was pretty solid at quarterback when he played. Put up a lot a lot of points, and I knew Eric wanted him.
Marks him off. Like his 29 interceptions.
Is that a real pick?
Yeah, so it's now you, sir. Eric, hop back in.
In 2007... I wish I was the back end and I had 2 picks right now. Because
you wish you were
in
taking
2007 I had Tom Brady with his 50 touchdowns with the, where did he play before the Buccaneers? New England Patriots. Yeah, 07 I had Tom Brady.
Yeah, I had Brady in 08, and he played 3 quarters, and that was my first round pick. So I was picking at like 9 or 10 or 11. It's like, God, I can't go wrong. Yeah, 3 quarters I got him. Well, anyways.
So your pick's Matt Castle right now?
Still better than Brady. Yeah, so actually I've got a guy, he had a few great years, and he had all kinds of major injuries like knee and spine. It's Priest Holmes.
Oh, there you go.
He was a monster for a few years.
My pick is a guy who, when Tom Brady had that monster year, this guy was a big part of it, and he was a great fantasy player. Also, didn't like paying parking tickets. Randy Moss. Great fantasy player, obviously put the catches up and had touchdowns to go with them, so Randy Moss is the big guy.
I had Brady and Moss on a team in 07. It was ridiculous, yeah.
That's always awesome.
Coming back to me.
And
no, it's
you got one more.
I got one more.
75.
And I'm going to go with something. I looked up these stats, and I'm going to pick someone that I never drafted, but he would be a great draft pick right now for fantasy. And we don't realize this, and I actually said the wrong name to you guys before. It wasn't what I said. It was actually George Blanda. He played quarterback and kicker, so think about that.
Golden toe.
Think about that in this day and age of fantasy. Your guy doesn't get a touchdown pass, but they kick a field goal. Oh, he gets 3 points anyway, and move on. So
stack it on an extra 100
and they said
points.
Actually, he actually would have averaged 26.5 a game in the season they're talking about, and his best game was 418 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, and 7 extra points. So that was the best thing. Your quarterback throws a touchdown, it's not 6, It's 7. So that's why I'm going to pick. Just kind of a neat little thing when I was looking stuff up. So
you always have a loophole at the end.
yeah, I find a loophole.
Yeah, and I'm going. I want to stack my team up. I already got 2 running backs and a flex, so I'm going with one more running back just in case. Just in case for injury. And it's a guy everybody forgets about. But Steven Jackson back in 06, he had 2,300 yards from scrimmage and 16 touchdowns. That same year, 90 catches out of the backfield. I think everybody forgets that season.
Yeah.
So Scott's going to like this pick because I got the 2006 Chicago Bears defense special teams. And I'll never forget, it was one of the best nights I ever had watching fantasy, where just being involved in fantasy and watching the Arizona Cardinals, and they were up 21-0 on the Bears. And the second half, Hester returned a kickoff for a touchdown, a punt for a touchdown, and then there was a interception. I believe it was Urlacher with a pick 6.
It was actually a strip and a pickup by Tillman.
Tillman, okay.
Yep.
And the Bears were who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook!
Moment of silence on screen.
So that's one
exactly.
game. I think the 85 Bears were actually better if you're
Yeah,
I didn't do fantasy
team
back then.
defense.
I didn't do
Yeah.
fantasy back then.
So I'm just sticking with what I know. He said favorite.
So the man who it's named for, Glenn, finish this off.
I'm gonna go with Sean Alexander.
Yep. Great one.
Solid running back.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was going to piggyback Eric's here. The Bears.
Oh, yeah,
Arizona.
Eric.
Do you remember we were at a Bears Arizona game? One of my favorite fantasy memories. And Kurt Warner's already got like 4 touchdowns in the first half. And I'm sitting with Greg Olson, and I think I was playing you.
Greg Olson of the Panthers?
No, it's
Oh,
the
when
Bears.
he was with the Bears. When he was
You were sitting with him?
No, me and Scott were sitting in the end zone, actually, this time. We were watching, because I remember Kurt Warner throws 4 touchdowns. They're just destroying the Bears. Olsen catches 3 second-half touchdowns.
Wow.
So I can
kinda
beat him and yell at him.
Oh, you're sitting right next to him.
While the Bears are getting smoked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, great.
You must have loved that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, awesome. Yeah, good job, Ed.
Honorable mentions?
Yeah, go ahead. Honor mentions. You got some.
Well, I mean, I wrote down the 5, and I don't have to take them all, but the 5 single greatest games in fantasy, and I don't think we mentioned a single player.
Okay, what are they?
Yeah.
So you want me to say all 5?
Oh, don't drag it out. Let's go.
So Jamal Charles is the single greatest. I think it was like almost 70 points, 195 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. Doug Martin once had 251 and 4 touchdowns. Vic had 6 touchdowns. This is the 3rd greatest. And then it was a tie between Le'Veon Bell and Derrick Henry. We didn't pick either one of those. Where Bell had 236 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Henry had 238 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then nobody mentioned the greatest thrower of ducks. Peyton Manning with 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, I had Peyton on my list.
We didn't mention a single one of those guys.
We got Tony Gonzalez, Marvin Harrison, Emmett Smith, all solid.
That Derrick Henry game came like 2 weeks after I released him because he was so garbage for like the first.
He had a rough year then.
And I released him, and he had that like 500-point game or whatever.
So what you're saying is you suck at fantasy.
I'm horrible.
Yeah, you gotta know when to hold them, when to fold them.
I don't remember. You might even pick them up in that league. If I'm not mistaken, Derrick Henry, after I released him, and he just went crazy.
Actually, I won.
I think
It wasn't our league, but I think I won the league there. But I won another league because I had Derrick Henry, and I didn't start him all. I didn't start him a lot, but in the last like 4 weeks, and he had
he's a
that
monster.
Thursday night game for the championship. I won. I had the game. I had my league won on Thursday night because I knew when my running back put up 50 points or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, this is over. There's no way and I didn't. I ended up winning by a decent amount. But Derrick Henry popped off that 190-some yarder and some other long run. It was crazy. So
yeah, I'm surprised you didn't have a bowler in your all-time fantasy team.
let me think. No, a lot of baseball players bowl, but not many football players. So
Jerome Bettis has a 300.
Jerome Bettis, right? Yes, he does. Yes, and he was So we did talk about Watson, Cam Newton. Obviously, we talked about Trubisky being named. Cam Newton was actually named a starter in New England. Lamar Miller was cut by the Patriots also today or yesterday. Josh Rosen, that we discussed, he was picked up by Tampa after being cut by Miami.
Yep. Yeah, good landing spot for him to learn behind Brady now.
Yep. And Clowney is on his way to Tennessee, and AP is on his way to Detroit, as Eric mentioned earlier, after being cut by Washington. Another great sleeper pick, Antonio Gibson becomes a new guy because he's the starter in Washington now, and I'm so glad I picked him last week before AP got cut. So it worked out great for me. Hopefully, we'll see. It's rookies; you never know what happens.
So I think an interesting topic is Jadeveon Clowney. Like, why? 'Cause a former number 1 pick. Like, why did it take him so long to get signed with a team? Like, what is the MO? Money?
It's money. He wanted like $20 million a year.
Attitude?
It was money. He wanted $20 million or something. He got $12 million. That's what he got. So now he went from maybe getting a long term for $16 million a year.
Did he get a 1 year?
1 year, 12 up to 15. He can make.
Where do you put him though in the like top 10 in his position? I mean, I think
I don't know. He's always been just a guy that kind of plugs along. He played with J.J. Watt for so many years that helped. And in Buffalo, he played. I mean, he was good.
Too much hype. I mean, the hype was there. He was the first pick. I mean,
he isn't Jadeveon Clowney, the one that blew up the Michigan running back in the
oh my God, it was incredible.
Thought the poor guy was dead when they hit. So
I mean, he was a hyped up player.
Yeah, I mean, I once again, there's. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just money. It's money.
Yeah.
And now he's playing on a 1 year contract, $12 million, and 15 at the most. So if he gets hurt this year, he may have lost out on, maybe an extra 10 because he could have got maybe a 3-year deal for maybe 30 or 40, 45, but maybe 25 guaranteed or 20. So he's missing out. I mean, waiting didn't help him. Teams weren't they were standing pat, and then he just basically, then he does it, and he just turns around and says, well, if I'm only going to get $12 million, I'm going to go to the best chance of winning something. And Tennessee was a good landing spot for him. It really was. It's a defensive-minded team, and that's a good spot.
Is he going to keep doing this, like 1 year deal, 1 year deal? I mean, he eventually.
Well, if he has a huge year this year, he's going to get it still. It'll help. 3 year deal.
It'll help that he's playing with Tennessee to get a huge year, really, because they got a great defense to start.
Well, in Tennessee, yeah, they are a great defense. Yeah. They're very good. I mean, they lost 1 or 2 guys, but NFL's all about how you reload and how you fill empty spots. I think they did a good job in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So this week's poll question for our fans, we already kind of went over this a little bit, so we're going to let the fans, a few fans comment on this. And who's going to win the Super Bowl, and who's going to be in it? I don't know if Glenn, did you mention who you thought? I forgot. I'm sorry. Who did you think was going to be in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I said Chiefs Saints with Saints winning it.
Okay, Chiefs Saints, and Ed, I know you threw. What was yours again?
I think it was Chiefs Saints with Saints winning as well.
And how about Eric? Yours again was it?
I got the Saints over the Ravens,
and I had Tampa over the Ravens also. What I have here, some comments. John Kiefer says New England over San Fran, 31-27. Gave us this thing. And San Fran winning. I'm sorry. New England versus San Fran. San Fran winning 31-17. Jim Newberry says Dallas versus Baltimore. Baltimore wins. Manny Cavelli says Buccaneers. A couple guys say who cares.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Corey Tusser says his head says Ravens Saints. His heart says Titans versus Packers.
Wow.
Someone else says Titans versus Packers. They didn't pick a winner. I'm going to pick the winner. It'll be Titans if the Packers play them. I'll pick that for him. No, I'm just kidding. Also, Dan Klutch says Packers. It doesn't matter who will play, they'll win.
Yeah, that's Klutch.
Jack Musha says Saints over Chiefs. Jack Musha was mentioned by Michael Roach, one of the coaches at
very smart football mind, Jack Musha.
And what did he pick?
Saints over Chiefs.
Kind of like two of us.
Oh, my God.
He gave us a little insight. That's if the Saints can get the deal with Kamara done. And this is a question he wanted to ask us before I move on. It's a great question, and I want to ask you guys. Do you think, he kind of said, how about all sports? And we're going to be a little topic with the Bucks being kind of kicked out here pretty soon. Do you think home field advantage is as important as we thought it would? Do you think it's an important thing? Do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it'll affect the football season? Say the Saints are going to, the Chiefs are going to have fans, but the Bears aren't. Do you think that this is going to affect the games? Do you think it affected the Bucs? Do you think it affect football? What do you guys think?
I think it does. I think when the defense is on the field, the noise kind of gets to them. I think on the offensive side, kind of pumps them up. So I definitely think that it's going to be a big deal.
Well, in the NBA situation, definitely, I think it affected them. But if we're sticking with the NFL, the Chiefs get to have 17,000 people. How much of effect are 17,000 people going to even be at Arrowhead Stadium? It's huge. And where are those people going to be? So you're saying, is he asking the question about, because the Chiefs get to have it, the Bears don't, the Packers don't?
Well, keep in mind, too, they're still piping in I
And they're
think
piping
all
in
32 are
sounds.
still piping in
Well,
crowd noise
and
as well.
his actually.
Well, of course. I mean, I think, of course, them playing in their own stadium that they're used to is an advantage. Hell yeah. Whether there's fans there or not. Yes.
Yeah, because home field
Yes.
advantage brings in the the factor of traveling,
And they know the field.
the
and they know-
comfortable, the locker
Yeah.
rooms, and
Yeah,
etc.
definitely.
It's kind of weird that you'd think professional players can't get hyped up enough to play each other for a big game without a bunch of people that know nothing about the game screaming behind them.
Well, like I said, it's more than just the hype.
I would say the home field advantage is more. They didn't have to travel 7 hours and sit in a hotel or anything.
East Coast teams going to the West Coast or vice versa.
Right. And riding the bus in and, you know.
Well, they're still doing all that.
Well, I know they are.
Right.
Yeah,
they
but
still have to
it's-
do that
It's a lot
stuff.
of work
so
of it, yeah. And will they change? Which they haven't talked about. I think there's still, but will they change the protocol? And maybe, which I'm surprised they haven't, which I thought they should have. Like if the Bears play the Packers, they go in the morning of and have them play at 3:00.
Yeah.
So the Bears leave in the morning, fly up there, leave at 8, get there at 10. They still got time. You're still not playing, but have them play at 3:00. Obviously, you know the almighty powers of money and TV won't allow that. As we're being all told, COVID serious and all this, but then they don't make plans like this because of course, and Fox, CBS, they aren't going to allow that because they can't have 10 games at 3:00.
Right.
So that's the problem with it. But I think that's the perfect. I mean, Seattle to New York, yeah, maybe go and stay overnight. I get that, but why is Detroit going and staying in Chicago for a night? That makes no
it's a
sense.
37-minute flight.
That makes no sense.
But not all divisions are tightly packed like the NFC North.
Yeah, but New Orleans, Atlanta, you can get there. Those I bet every division is within
A 2-hour
an
flight.
hour and a half flight of each other in interdivision. Hour and a half, 2 hours. And that's what I said in the one show we talked about. 2 hours or less, you should fly that day.
Well,
Anything more?
San Francisco, Atlanta? No. San Francisco, New Orleans?
San Francisco, L.A., Arizona, and
So is there any team out west that actually has to come in anymore?
No.
Like to the center? They're all like on the coast now.
I believe so. Yeah,
I'm trying to think here.
yeah, because it's
So New Orleans to Atlanta would be probably a pretty far one. Oh, man.
it's not that North Atlanta isn't
No,
that far.
it's not that
No.
far.
No, it's a flight.
So I mean, how?
Well, like Indy, Jacksonville, a little different.
Okay,
not
there
too
we go.
Crazy.
There's one.
But I
Yeah.
think flights are affected by weather more than like a bus trip would be.
But that's
From
still
Chicago to Green Bay.
even Indy to
Detroit to
Jacksonville is
Chicago.
only 2 hours or so.
How do you feel after a 2.5-hour flight? You're not. It's not like you're that wore out.
No, if you do it for a living. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you get used to.
I think what
travel.
he's asking more is just the crowd noise that Kansas City's going to get. I don't see how it affects you. I really don't.
Yeah.
You're so tuned into what's going on there
So then why do players stand on the fields waving their arms?
because they're idiots. Why do they do half the shit they do? Because they're morons.
Okay, so a couple other ones in here.
That was that shower stall.
Nick Sturch says Cowboys Chiefs with the Cowboys winning.
Of course.
Chris Pascal says if a playoff bubble, Chiefs Saints, and if home field counts, Ravens over Saints. So, and then Hop says Vikings Bills win because it's 2020. That's what he said. So those are the few we had
awesome.
common this week. If so, let's pick our. I think we should pick Jack Musha because he had the question added on that made us talk about.
Yeah, it was
something.
a good question.
So Jack Musha is our winner this week. Jack, get a hold of us, and we'll get you a T-shirt for your a little good question. I liked it. The question besides your answer, I liked it a lot. So
Especially if he listens all the way through this 7-hour show.
so yeah, that's the one thing. A couple other things. The cuts this week. A few guys out there that are going to be available. You have Mohamed Sanu, who's out in the thing, the receiver. Prince Akamora is out there, ex-Bear, but he was not cut by the Bears. I can't remember who he was with. I can't read his little writing. So he got cut by somebody, though. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He wasn't picked up yet. He's still out there, I believe. And then you have another guy. Clay Matthews is available.
The third?
Doesn't he live next door? We see him walking around the neighborhood.
Eric Reed.
There's another Packer cornerback out there, too.
Who's that?
Haha. Or
Ha just got cut, yeah.
Ha-ha, man,
and then
he's
you
lost.
have
Of
Sean.
course, Mike McCarthy gets the cut a couple times.
And the one guy I said earlier for the Packers, they should look at a defensive tackle, Marcel Darius. He was a pretty good for the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple years ago. I mean, he's older, but a guy that maybe gets you 18, 20 plays for the right price.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Bears, too, with Eddie Goldman kicking out. I thought, you need someone to fill a spot.
Goldman's not playing this year, right?
No, he
Opted out.
He opted out, yeah.
Yep.
And any other cuts you guys heard of or thought of before? Oh, another guy that was in visiting for a team today I saw, and I wish I remembered who he was visiting. I'd have to think. Devontae Freeman was visiting somebody.
He's not. I can't believe he's not on a team.
The Jacksonville Jaguars he was visiting.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah, so I guess they cut one guy that they had signed, and I understand Jacksonville. They cut Leonard Fournette, and if we're going to talk about Leonard Fournette's on Tampa now, I don't understand what they did because he was under contract. So why not just pay unless and this late in the game there is no. I don't believe in contract. Usually there's a cut date, you save money. That's usually like in June, July, not a week before the season, or 2 weeks. So I don't know why they cut him on their contract, and I think there is a malcontent. I don't know, but once again, nobody wants to. And teams mess up all the time by shopping these guys out in the open.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to get rid of this guy. Okay, now we all know. I'll say my chances. If we get him on the waivers, we do. If we don't, we don't. Whatever.
7th-round pick.
Yeah. I mean, and why not? And if you know he's going to leave anyway, why not take a 5th or 6th? Who cares? You'll get nothing for him anyway.
Yeah.
A running backs nowadays aren't worth first, second round picks. They're not going. Some receivers maybe a second round, and defensive players you're going to get more for. I mean, like a Khalil Mack type guy. Those are the guy that just went to. That's going to help Minnesota a ton. The guy from the Jaguars. I can't remember his name, the defensive end. He is going to help them a ton. Yeah. He fills a void for them. They lost, I can't remember the name, I'm sorry again, the guy that went down to Dallas that left Minnesota, free agent. And this guy's actually better than the guy that left. So I think he's going to help Minnesota a ton defensively because they had a couple of holes, and that's going to help.
Yeah, Hop is very disappointed in you right now for not knowing these Minnesota players.
Yeah.
What was the Jaguars? I mean, unless he's a mental case, which he probably is, it's the NFL. To get rid of Fournette, were they that tight in salary cap with a 1-in-15
team? They couldn't have been because they've been cutting.
No,
Garden Minshew don't make nothing.
They got a quarterback making $77 a game.
He spends it all on headbands.
Yeah, and mustache care.
So it's like what? It's not like it's a money saving thing. Why don't you just leave him on the team for the rest of the year?
I think they had issues. There was issues with Fournette.
Yeah, he does have some mental problems, I believe.
And I think they're tanking. I mean, they're tanking from the get go
for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I bet Minshew feels good about that, huh?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is the
guy with better hair.
Yeah, guy with better hair. Not a better mustache, though.
No.
I do give Minshew a lot. That mustache is epic.
And Minshew's dad is jacked. You remember seeing him in the stands?
Yeah.
He is jacked. He could go play.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Maybe they should sign him. Maybe they will. Strap for cash. So that was the NFL preview show. So any closing thoughts? We'll give the king of the snake draft. Any closing thoughts for the week or anything to look for maybe this week in the NFL? Glenn?
No, nothing to add there. Just it's been an honor to sit with you guys. And, we'll see you next week.
That's what it usually is, an honor.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Cavelli.
Hey, no problem. I'll make you a D-end one day. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Well, the honor is all ours, Glenn. I appreciate you coming on in place of Willie.
Well, the Ben Gay smell not being here this week is gladly missed.
A huge advantage.
I'll have to get a set of cube to bring with.
I loved having Michael Roach on the show. That was awesome. I felt like it feels like a real podcast when you have somebody like that come on and you get to interview him and stuff like that. So
we've got 26 shows under our belt, and he's like, it sounds like a real podcast now.
Well, it's just
the first 6 were real. After that, kind of went downhill.
Yeah, it went downhill once we added other guys.
I'm out.
So, Ed.
Glenn, you did a great job. Usually we're sitting here, Willie's going, huh, what? Yeah, what? Oh, yeah.
My computer's upside down. Hitting the wall.
He's hitting the wall because I'm in my phone. Yeah, and Roach did a great job.
Yeah.
He's got, we could use him on the show a couple more times.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of stories, I guarantee.
Yeah, so we'll get him back on in a few weeks, talk to him again.
And it's fresh compared to our stories.
Yeah.
Which is like, remember back in the day when them cotton-picking guys were kicking the football with the side of their foot?
This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So, Glenn, thank you very much for being on tonight. Great time. Michael Roach, thank you very much for also being on the show. Great to have you. We are the Basement Benchwarmers podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Basement Benchwarmers. Also at Twitter at Base Benchwarmer. Also on Instagram at Basement Benchwarmers. And our email is basementbenchwarmers@gmail.com. Guys, thanks a lot. Willie, hope the diapers, you got the right Velcro figured out for those things. Let's keep them on. And you guys have a great week. Everybody, please stay healthy and wash your hands.
Yeah, here we go for the 100th time. Hand grenade pins words in every line. Throw them up and let something shine. Going out of my fucking mind. Filthy mouth, no excuse. Find a new place to hang this noose. String me up from atop these roofs. Knot it tight so I won't get loose. Truth is you can stop and stare. Run myself out and no one cares. Dug the trench out, lay down there with a shovel up out of reach somewhere. Yeah, someone pour it in. Make it a dirt dance floor again. Saying prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. I bleed it out. Go, stop the show. Choppy words in a sloppy flow. Shotgun opera, lock and load. Cock it back and then watch it go. Mama help me, I've been cursed. Death is rolling in every verse. Candy paint on his brand new hearse. Can't contain him, he knows he works. Fuck, this hurts, I won't lie. Doesn't matter how hard I try. Half the words don't mean a thing, and I know that I won't be satisfied. So why try ignoring him? Make it a dirt dance flow again. Say your prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. I bleed it out. I've opened up these scars. I'll make you face us. I pulled myself so far. I'll make you face us. No! I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to